Professional sports operate on narrow physical margins. When a major joint fails or a tendon snaps under the weight of a multi-million-dollar contract, medical consensus usually marks that career as finished. In 1992, multi-sport superstar Bo Jackson faced exactly that kind of trauma. He defied the odds by returning to Major League Baseball while playing on an artificial hip. The following year, the Dallas Cowboys relied on a specialized physical conditioning program to power through their season and win the Super Bowl. Then, the Chicago Cubs, a team coming off a 93-year losing tradition, adopted a rigid last-to-first mindset and rattled off a 12-game winning streak. Mac Newton, a ninth-degree black belt and Taekwondo master, was the common factor behind these physical and psychological turnarounds. Newton understood how to rebuild the bodies and minds of elite athletes because he had already reverse-engineered his own life after a series of physical and personal collapses. Newton's baseline was established in Jamaica 80 years ago. His mother died when he was only 3 months old, and with his father absent, he was raised by aging matriarchs. When he was 9, his father met him in Atlanta, placed him on a train bound for California, and walked away without saying a word. He spent the following years shuttling through the foster care system before becoming homeless on the streets of Chicago at age 14. He spent his youth sleeping in public restrooms and in the backyards behind the grocery stores where he worked. Before he ever stepped onto a mat to face an opponent, Newton had already learned how to survive when he had no one to rely on but himself. That resilience was later tested by physical trauma. During the Vietnam War, Newton sustained combat injuries that destroyed his physical foundation. The medical prognosis was degenerative arthritis so severe it would eventually require a steel plate in his knee and 2 total hip replacements. Instead of accepting a life of immobility, he hobbled out of the hospital on crutches and walked into a martial arts studio. The instructor gave him a choice: train without excuses or leave. Newton stayed, training despite the structural failure in his joints. He pushed through the pain to win the 1972 World Taekwondo Championship and eventually earned a 9th-degree black belt. This recovery suggested that the human body can function despite catastrophic damage if the mental demand is high enough. Newton formalized his experience into the Newton method, a system combining martial arts discipline, high-intensity functional training, and a metabolic 3-2 eating plan. This graph illustrates the mathematical Newton's method, an iterative process used to rapidly find a function's optimal solution. In this analogy, Newton acts as the human Hessian. By providing second-order information, like surface curvature, he applies that same pressure to force an athlete toward peak performance. Today, he applies this formula at his Phoenix facility, the Hot Room, where everyday people train alongside professional athletes under the same uncompromising conditions. He applied this same logic of preparation to the birth of his son, Nelson. After taking a childbirth course to prepare for emergencies, Newton was able to step in and assist the doctor during the final delivery. Newton's philosophy is built on the idea that your future is not dictated by your past traumas. It is decided by whether you step into the batter's box and keep swinging until you decide it's over.